So Arsenal play Bayern Munich tomorrow, and there could be a surprise addition in this squad that could be perfect for this Bayern Munich game. Also, we've heard German football experts come out and put Arsenal as favourites, and they tell us why Arsenal should win this game against Bayern Munich. But also, I'm going to tell you why this home leg at Arsenal Stadium is perfect for this Bayern Munich draw. But I think the first place we have to start is with how Bayern Munich are playing, because there's no exaggeration in me saying that this is a club in crisis. You know, there's been talks coming out that Bayern Munich are actually considering sacking Thomas Tuchel, the Bayern Munich manager, before the game on Tuesday because their results have been so poor. And Thomas Tuchel has actually confirmed that he's going to be leaving Bayern at the end of the season. So what does this mean for Arsenal? I'm going to let you know. But let's just look at their league position, okay? So let's have a look. So it says there, look, they're second in the league. They're not doing that good in the league this season, and that you might be thinking, well, they're still second in the league. What's the problem? I don't really understand. Bayern Munich are expected to win the Bundesliga every year. They've won it for the last consecutive 11 years in a row. So Bayern Munich fans, owners, CEOs, they're not happy when Bayern Munich don't win the Bundesliga. Let's look at their last 3 league games, okay? Let's look at their form. So they won 5-2 against Darmstadt. Decent result. But then they lost a massive derby to Dortmund. They lost 2-0. You know, that's the game that's billed as the German El Clasico. And then the most recent game, they lost 3-2 to Heidenheim. That was a dreadful result. Do you know what? They went 2-0 up as well. They go 2-0 up and they blow a 2-0 lead and lose 3-2 against Heidenheim. A terrible team in the Bundesliga, if we're being honest. They conceded 2 goals in 86 seconds. And I don't really understand why. Because take a look at this team, okay? Look at this Bayern Munich team that played. They have some incredible players. Look, I'll be honest, I don't really know who that goalkeeper is. But look at the other players, okay? You got Alphonso Davies. You got Kim Min-jae. Upamecano as centre-back. Let's not forget, this is the guy who's preferred in the French team to William Saliba. They got Joshua Kimmich, who many top teams, even Arsenal, have been linked with this summer. You got Goretzka and Konrad Laimer, the centre midfield pairing. Thomas Muller, yeah, he's a bit older, but he's got plenty of experience. And look at these last 3 players. Musiala, Gnabry and Harry Kane. So like I said, if you just look at that team and try and understand why this Bayern Munich team is failing so much, I can't pinpoint the reason, because they have some fantastic players. Players who are capable of hurting teams, no doubt, and players that Arsenal 100% need to be aware of. And look, just look at their figurehead. Look at the guy leading the line. Harry Kane. We know what he can do in England, and he's been doing exactly the same over in Germany. Look at his stats. 38 goals in 37 games. This is crazy. 12 assists as well. We know what he offers in terms of goal scoring, but also what he offers in terms of setting his teammates up. Arsenal need to be aware of that. And when I say we need to be aware of it, I don't think we need to adapt the way that we're going to play. I think Arsenal need to play this game on the front foot. Arsenal need to attack this game straight away, especially with the first leg being at home. And I think that could be a bonus. Look, in the Champions League, you always want the return fixture to be at home. But I think Arsenal playing the home leg at first could actually benefit us, and I'll tell you why. Arsenal haven't been in this competition for such a long time. So there's bound to be nerves. We saw it in the Porto game. At times, this Arsenal team plays with nerves. So you want the first leg, when you're playing with nerves, probably to be at home. When you haven't been in a competition for so long, playing the first leg at home and getting a good result isn't all that bad. Because if we can get a 2-goal margin at home, and I think that's all it's going to take. If we can get a 2-goal margin, say if we win this game either 2-0 or 3-1, I think Arsenal will progress, because I don't see us going to the Allianz and falling apart completely. I don't see Bayern Munich putting 3 goals past us. And Bayern Munich are a team that are not playing that great anyway. So I do think that this home leg first for Arsenal is actually perfect for us. But now if we're looking at the Arsenal team, and I think this is where we can have some discussion. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on what you would do with this Arsenal team, because I think most of the team is already going to be picked for itself. But I do think there's a couple of positions that there could be some interesting people put into those positions, okay? So I think the first one is going to be left back. Do you go with Zinchenko? We've seen him be preferred in more recent games. Or do you go back to Kiwior, or do you use Tomiyasu? I think they're all good options. For me personally, I would discount Zinchenko in this game, just because, you know, he's not as good defensively. And I think at times with that attack, Bayern Munich are bound to have some success. They're bound to try and get at Arsenal at some point. And I just think you need the defensive solidity of a tomiyasu or a Jakub Kiwior. Now, which one you go for, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing either one. I've said tomiyasu is so good in one-on-one situations so many times that for that reason I probably play tomiyasu in this game. I do think he's good going forward, and I also think he's really good defensively as well. Like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Kiwior because he's looked so good recently, but in terms of experience and a more complete player, for that reason I would probably go with tomiyasu. Let me know who you would go for. And then I think the midfield could be an interesting one. I've got a sneaky suspicion that Mikel Arteta is going to play Thomas Partey in this game in that 6th position. We've seen Jorginho play that position so many times and he's done it so well. But something's telling me, for some reason, I'm expecting Mikel Arteta to go Thomas Partey, Rice and Odegaard. Let me know your thoughts on what you would do. And I wouldn't be unhappy with that. I wouldn't mind seeing Thomas Partey in there because he is really good defensively. In the last few games, he looks like he may have lost a step of pace. But in terms of his passing ability, when he has been given the chance, I actually think he's looked okay. So I wouldn't mind seeing Thomas Partey in there. Like I said, if the team sheet comes out and Jorginho's in there, I'm absolutely okay with that because Jorginho's been fantastic as well. We saw in the last game he got the assist for Havertz, so he does offer things in terms of dictating play from deep, and he also can push forward, which was a bit of a surprise, and whip that ball in for Kai Havertz. So for that reason, this is the team that I think we're going to go for, okay? I think it's going to be David Raya in goal, Ben White right back, Saliba, Gabriel and Tomiyasu, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Odegaard, and I think the 2 wingers are going to be ready to play this game. Saka, Martinelli and Kai Havertz. And I think that team is more than capable of getting that so important 2-goal margin that I believe we need. Martinelli and Saka, we haven't seen it that recent with those 2 playing together from the start of the game, and I think that's because Mikel Arteta has done that on purpose. You know, a lot of us were expecting Martinelli to play in the last game and maybe Saka to be used as a sub, or maybe not even feature at all to be rested for this Bayern Munich game. But we didn't see that. We saw Bukayo Saka start and Martinelli start on the bench. Bukayo Saka missed the game before that and Martinelli started. So these are 2 players that are now rested. These are 2 players that should be fit and firing for this Bayern Munich game, and it could be a masterstroke by Mikel Arteta for resting those players in those games. So now let's get into the score prediction. Let me know your score predictions. For me, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Arsenal. Look, in the Champions League, like I said, we've seen nerves in previous games, especially in that game against Porto. We didn't impose our style of play in those games necessarily in a way that I thought we could have done. I hope we do that in this Bayern Munich game, but I'm still expecting there to be nerves. I remember watching in those Porto games, and maybe Saliba seemed a bit shaky at times. Now, he didn't do anything wrong, but in terms of the way he got the ball, he just couldn't get it under control as quick as he usually does. And I'm maybe expecting a similar sort of thing in this game. You know, Bayern Munich's a bigger team, a more established team, probably a better respected team right now than Porto. So I'm expecting that maybe there to be some nerves as well. But I'm just hoping that we do impose our style of play on this game. Like I said, we're at home in the first leg. We need to get after them very, very quickly. We need to get out there, get straight on the front foot and try and expose their vulnerable defence. Their defence is vulnerable this season. They don't have the best defence. And if you're looking at the players, it's hard to understand why, because like we listed earlier, there's some great players. Upamecano, like I said, he gets in the French squad in front of William Saliba. I think he's suspect. We saw in games last season, Upamecano was terrible in the Champions League. So I think with Saka, Martinelli, Havertz all trying to expose their back line, I think that's where we're going to have success. And the midfield is going to have plenty of the ball in this game. But I just hope we play that high line, try and push against Bayern Munich, and that's where I think we can get that 2-goal margin. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video and about the Bayern Munich game in general. What do you expect the score to be? And who do you expect to play in left back and centre mid? Those are the answers I want to see from you guys. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. And before you go, if you could just do me the favour of giving me a thumbs up on this video, just like it, and subscribe. And I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.